What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Back with my segment, What's Next? I want to talk about Brandon Rios. As I told you, I was disgusted with last night's fights. I didn't even watch it a second time, and that on a big fight, when it's a good, supposed to be a good 50-50 fight like that, usually I try to rewatch it immediately if it's that good, but I had no desire to rewatch it. It was just rough to watch. There were good spots, but that was when they were actually fighting. Other than that, both fighters were getting frustrated. Vic Draculich wasn't controlling the action. He wasn't really asserting himself as the referee and giving the proper warnings. He would deduct points and then warn them, and it was all over the place, man. So I want to talk about Brandon Rios. What's next? What do I see next for him? And to be honest, after a long layoff, after two consecutive losses, they said he's going back to the old Brandon Rios. Got rid of Alex Ariza, and he didn't look great to me. He looked good in spots. You could tell he's still nasty in the inside, but as a complete, like if I look at the fight as a whole, he did not look like somebody who is going to be the cream of the crop at 147. There's too many good fighters. It's a stacked division, and I mean, I'm just being honest. Now, I really like Brandon Rios. I always have. His heart, he's a true warrior. That motherfucker has a chin. You could, like, I really haven't even seen anyone that substantially is able to hurt him, like where he's just on Queer Street. He keeps trucking, he keeps coming forward. He's been hit by Pacquiao, clobbered by Diego Chavez, etc. Mike Alvarado hit him with some good shots, and he just grins and smiles. He has that Margarito mean streak, if you will. So has all the makings of an exciting, entertaining fighter. Truthfully, I just wasn't impressed because he looked like he had some ring rust. I think the thing that makes me mad is when you have a guy like Brandon Rios who's limited. And the reason I call him limited is because he's not an overall complete fighter where he does, like if you look at a Mayweather or Pacquiao, they do a lot of things right. They're complete fighters. Like Pacquiao has good footwork. He typically has good conditioning. He's a southpaw. He has power. He has speed. He, more than people give him credit for, has good boxing ability where he causes you to miss and capitalize on mistakes and stuff like that. Same thing with Mayweather. I don't view Rios as that. I like him. I'm honest. So I don't view him as a complete fighter. Now, where he excels is his type of fight. If he can drag you into the trenches and he doesn't respect your power, if he can get you on the inside, he's going to gobble you the fuck up. That's Brandon Rios. That's where he really thrives. Get him on the inside, get him in his comfort zone, make him realize it's a fight, and if you get into a slugfest, you will pay. That's where he excels. He has nice uppercuts. He has nice dedication to the body, and he actually has an underrated good jab. So, like, his arms are pretty long and whatnot. And the thing that makes me mad is when you get a guy who's limited in the sense of he's not like a Rigondeaux all around, does X, Y, and Z, and they don't use their best attributes. That's what pisses me off. Brandon Rios, I've seen him go to the body, and I've seen him use a jab a lot more efficiently than he did yesterday. And that's the problem, because those are your strengths. That's what you should be trying to use. Robert Garcia was saying to use head movement and stuff. He needs to use his God-given ability, what he excels at, and then don't worry about the rest. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, he's not a slick fighter. He gets hit a lot. That's one of his downsides. That's why I don't think he can be the cream of the crop at welterweight or even like the top three. He gets hit too much, and when you get to the upper echelon, those dudes will embarrass you. Like Pacquiao already did it, but those guys can crack, the Keith Thurmans, the Sean Porters. So you're not going to just want to come forward and get hit by those dudes. You know what I mean? Heavy-handed guys. I just wasn't impressed. But I also wasn't impressed with Diego Chavez. I thought he put a way better fight up against Keith Thurman. It was just more organized. His game plan seemed... He also... Diego Chavez, to me, fought as if he had ADD. Like, he didn't really have one game plan. The crazy part is, I've seen people with multiple game plans. That's not a bad thing. That's called adapting. But use a game plan, like derive from your game plan when it actually makes sense. Like Keith Thurman versus Diego Chavez. He was trying to brawl with Diego Chavez and he was losing that front. So he had to switch. And I'm okay with those. When you switch your game plan for that reason, that makes sense. But Diego Chavez was just bouncing all over the place. He wasn't being, Brandon Rios didn't cause him to switch his game plan. He would brawl, then all of a sudden he would clinch, then he would try to box, then he would go back to brawling, clinch, clinch. It was just all over the place. He didn't have one particular identity, as I think it was Andre Ward mentioned. So for Brandon Rios, entertaining fighter. I personally think boxing has a lot of loyalty, and I'm all for loyalty. But you also have to look at your family. You also have to look at your career. Robert Garcia, maybe it's time that Brandon Rios gets with someone. I think even a guy like Virgil Hunter would benefit Brandon Rios. Not that he's going to make him this overnight, like, defensive slick fighter. However, there are certain things that he could teach him. It looks like Robert Garcia and Brandon Rios, their game plan is pretty much always the same. We already know what they're going to do. Maybe there's another coach out there, even a Joel Diaz, somebody like that, who can implement different aspects of Brandon Rios. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about just being machismo and, oh, shit, you could take these punches. Who, you know what I mean? It's not about that. Like, that's great that Brandon Rios has this granite iron chin, but why take the punishment when you can find a way around it? It doesn't make sense to purposely get hit with hard shots. You know what I mean? It's exciting as a fan, but it doesn't make sense for the trainer and the fighter. So I think a Joel Diaz, a Virgil Hunter would probably be a better fit for Brandon Rios if he's a blank canvas and willing to learn. That's my personal opinion. But I think there's a lot of guys. I think Robert Garcia could do a better job training Chavez Jr. than Freddie Roach. They already have the language in common. They both speak Spanish. Even a Canelo would probably have some success with Robert Garcia, and that's because Canelo, he needs to work on certain aspects of his game. He's already an intelligent fighter. He already uses his brain. So maybe Robert Garcia can bring more of that dog out of him and get him to let his hands go and stuff. Same with Chavez Jr. Brandon Rios, this is the fight I want to see with him. Ruslan Provodnikov and Brandon Rios. As far as Diego Chavez, I'll watch a rematch, but I'm not sure that it would be 10 times different than this fight. You can get a different trainer, or a different ref, but the guys don't like each other, and there's animosity, especially how the first fight played off. When's the last time we seen a disqualification? Fucking Roy Jones and Montel Griffin. And I don't know. Like I said, you can get a different ref. I don't know how it's going to turn out. But more than the Diego Chavez rematch, which could happen later, I would rather see the Brandon Rios versus Ruslan Provodnikov. Just see the match before it gets stale. Ruslan just took a loss. Brandon Rios is off of a not really great win. So, shit, fuck it. Just make the fight before it gets any worse, before people really lose interest in this fight. I told you guys about this. I think it was early in 2013. It was, I think it was in March, right after the Bradley fight. I told you this is the fight to make. I still want to see it. And he's not going to have to worry about clinching. Ruslan, that's not his style. Rios doesn't have to worry about Ruslan clinching a whole hell of a lot. It'll be entertaining to the fans, and we'll really get to see who's the best brawler, to be honest. So let me know what you guys think. What's next for Brandon Rios? Like I said, I like the kid. I just feel like maybe his partnership with Robert Garcia has run its course, because every single fight, it looks like the same type of Brandon Rios. And they said he was going back to the old Brandon Rios, and I didn't really see that. I want to see the Brandon Rios that fought John Murray and Mike Alvarado in the first fight. And his last 2 fights, 3 fights even, haven't really seen that. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like the video. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.